Insane in the Membrane.
Hello and welcome to another edition of your favourite podcast, Insane in the Membrane, with me, Rich Wilson. And this week I'm joined by my good friend and co-host of But Please Don't Panic, it's old Rachael Wells. Wellsy herself, hello. And I think there might be a delay, or she can't hear it.
No, you froze. Sorry, you're talking to me.
Oh, I was doing the introduction, that's all right. And then it was
I
just
heard
kind
the
of
start of it, and then
blank.
it just stopped.
I love technology, don't you? It's so much fun, isn't it? Just
error.
It's welcome to the show. We did this before, ages ago.
I'm so angry.
And you were annoyed, so we were like, right. Let's give it some time, and we're back at it. And now you're a podcaster in your own right, so you're used to it. You're used to public speaking, so.
But hang on, let's not go that far. Used to it, just crack on. No, I just
bang
done
on
it more often now.
We've talked about this many times on But Please Don't Panic, and we talk about the fact that you are autistic and you have ADHD and these things kind of bang up against each other.
Yeah,
so
not in a sexy way.
No. But this is what we're trying to put across with But Please Don't Panic. Part of it is when we say, right, this is the film we're going to watch, and this is the film we're going to talk about, and then we're going to record on this day.
Yeah.
All of those things, it's easy. I don't have that, so I could just go, yeah, fine. And if we don't record, it's because something else has happened. It's like, oh, something's happened, I've got to go out. Whereas you have to go like, right, I'm prepared, but I need to. And then you've got that thing of, like you said, if I say to you, this is the film we're watching and recording at this time, part of your brain goes, no, we're not. I'm not doing that. And you have to battle that. So to get you in front of a screen, recording, having already watched the film, people don't realise how, not difficult, but there's a lot goes into that happening.
Yeah. It's not just like smooth. There's lots of steps to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is it? So just go through it. When we talk about so we go, this is the film. For example, we're watching The Blob. All right. Yeah. Is it easier if you pick the film, or is it easier if I pick the film?
So the novelty of someone else picking the film is better. So
right.
I'm like, ooh. Otherwise, my brain gets a bit bored of it. Like, okay.
Okay.
Like Sharktopus, I was a bit like, I've already seen it though. Like, I wasn't really like to be excited for things. If it's tedious, I don't want to do it.
No.
It's got to be sort of, even if it's the novelty is definitely great for the brain. Ooh,
and that's
like a little challenge.
But sometimes there are things that we have to do that are tedious. Does your brain just go, nah, I'm just not doing it?
I cannot, no. Because my brain, if my brain doesn't care, I can't make it care. There's nothing I can do. Like, even logically, I know, like, to plan my day better. I know that's logical to be like, if you get up and get ready, you don't have to then stop what you're doing to get ready later.
Yeah.
But my brain's just like, but I don't want to be ready. So I sort of put that thing off until last minute, and then I'm always late for everything. Because I'm like, I don't like being dressed. It's like something I don't really want to be doing. No, like, wearing clothes is fine, but you know when you're like, I've got to put bra and pants on, like, oh, no, thank you. Just give me shorts and t-shirt any day. But like, I've got to do, so it's just another chore, but it's not an automatic thing. It's something that I've got to think through.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Like, step by step. It's not, I don't just do it. It's, now I've got to find this. And then because I'm disorganised everywhere else, that task is bigger because I'm like, I've got to find a t-shirt and then, I sort of do everything a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that trips me up at the future. Rachel is not happy.
So does it feel like you're sort of like you're there and your brain's there and you're kind of, do you know, it feels like you're separate from it sometimes?
Yeah, because I want to do things. So it's not like I don't want to do it. Like, take, so I was at uni, I was going to say years ago, probably was years ago, and I just can't write essays. But I worked so hard. So every week I would sit down with my tutor or like a study skills like mentor, we would go through it for like a year, or I just cannot, my brain cannot do essays. Because it's opinion, isn't it? And that changes. And so it's not factual. And if it's not factual, then I don't want to act like it is. Because if my opinion's changed, even though, because it's just do it, get it done, I'm like, oh, but it's not true. And I can't make my brain do something that is not right. I don't know, it's just not right. I can't. But like the autistic thing as well, even though I know logically I can do something, sometimes I just can't. So like sometimes, but that's how it's a spectrum, isn't it? Because my traits, I always have my traits, but how they affect me changes. Like depending on just loads of things, like how much I've got on, like the stress, the environment, like so if I'm stressed, if I've got more to do, like official stuff is a pain in the ass. And then like if I've got, because like even environmental stuff, so if I've got to go to a supermarket but I'm already stressed, that supermarket's going to be louder and more painful and brighter than if I'm calmer. So
even on that level,
try and balance everything.
So everything from the moment you wake up to the time you go to bed, you're just having to like really, like we're all making decisions every minute of every day, but you have to really think it through.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
Because just too much. Like,
and is that the autism or the ADHD, or just a combination of the two?
I don't know. So now I've got both diagnoses. I don't know where one starts and one ends, if that makes sense. They all sort of just mush together. But some are very definitely being autistic, like not really wanting to talk to people. Finding people quite boring. That might just be me though. That might just be a personality trait. Where I'm like, people are just a bit shit. But
that sounds more like a personality thing. Yeah. You what? Sorry.
I'd rather just be quiet.
Right.
Like, you don't really get. But I understand the benefit of interacting with people. But if people could just know what I'm thinking, that would be better for me.
Yeah, you're definitely born in the wrong time.
But even then, so with that, like being seen and not heard, that'd be fabulous. But the ADHD side of me likes the attention and doesn't like to be told what to do.
My God.
So I'm like, but that's like the PDA as well. So like the demand avoidance. If someone says you need to do something, I'm like, fuck off. Like I just can't. I always give the example of, icebreakers. Like if you're in a new group, and like, I'm like, no. Like I just refuse to do it. And then no one really knows how to take it. If you just go, I'm uncomfortable with that, they're like, no one's ever refused to tell me some interesting fact. Because what is interesting? It's all subjective, isn't it?
It is.
What do you want to know about me?
So you'd rather just cut yourself off and just save yourself the hassle?
No, I want to interact, but just on my
your terms.
Well, because surely not everyone wants to be talking all the time. We just want to be quiet with people.
Yeah, but I think that comes with time, doesn't it? Once you're around people for a bit and you get used to them, and then you sort of understand each other a bit more, and then that being comfortable in each other's company, being silent in each other's company, it just comes with time. You have to build. You have to build it. It doesn't happen immediately.
It's other people that are the problem, I think.
Other people are the problem.
I'm fine.
Yes,
other people
you are
definitely the problem.
But has this been difficult in relationships as well then? If you're trying to build a relationship, do you have certain expectations of like, it needs to be this?
Because the ADHD brain goes with that. So that's like the impulsiveness, that's the rejection sensitivity dysphoria, that's the risk taking. That's where, that Rachel's not handy at all. We don't need to be that one. Like it's very much like because she's a problem. That Rachel's a problem.
Oh, really?
But I don't know, because I've never had a relationship being diagnosed with both. In fact, no, but not even a proper relationship. I just get a bit bored with people. And I've not found someone who can, who sort of ticks the boxes. But I'm not really looking properly. But I do want a husband, so...
A husband.
I've got a husband. A
What,
husband.
to do husbandy things?
I don't know, just someone to hang out with, someone to be quiet with.
I want someone to just sit with me.
Yeah, but just hang. I don't want to be like. I don't know, just to not to bother. That sounds awful. I just want someone to bother, but just someone like a. I don't know. It seems quite nice. The idea of a husband seems quite nice.
Do you
Just
need
someone on your
someone?
team, isn't it?
Yeah, there is that. There is that element of togetherness and understanding, and someone that you can be completely yourself with. So someone that you could be quiet with, but then also someone that you could, out of the blue, bombard them with questions about the Bermuda Triangle and
Fucking love that
EastEnders or whatever else you want to chat about.
Oh my god! Well, the new one that I've been sort of trying to keep in because people. It's becoming a problem. Well, because people think you're weird if you're like, oh, by the way. But that podcast I was telling you about
Yeah.
the guy who was they took him to court, like Crown Court, for like wanking off a dolphin. There's a podcast, I listened to it.
How did he get caught? Did the dolphin grass him up?
No, they made it up. He wasn't doing it. They made it up.
Oh.
So it was oh my god, let me tell you. The podcast is called Hooked on Freddy. And so the guy, there was a dolphin that had just appeared, a wild dolphin, they were swimming with it, and then he was the guy who made the allegation was on like a boat with other people, and they heard him say it, and they were like, oh, it must be true. So they all told someone told the police. But the guy who made the first allegation, who said it on the boat, he was the guy who was running like the Flamingo Land or whatever it was. So he was working with captive dolphins. And the other guy who was allegedly wanking off a dolphin, hang on, what was I saying? He was trying to shut it down and free the dolphins. He was on Jonathan Ross, the guy, not the wanky guy, not the alleged, not the boat guy.
So the boat guy was trying to shut it down. Shut down.
No, the boat guy was trying to. He owned Flamingo Land.
Right.
And like the guy who was accused of wanking off Freddy, he was trying to shut Flamingo Land down.
Oh, so there was. I see. So he accused him of that, and that way it would discredit him.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, that's a way to go, isn't it?
Yeah, but he didn't get convicted. And then he. What was I saying?
Well, there'd be no evidence. Even if he did do it.
Well, no, yeah, because people were like, why didn't you, when it was in court, the guy who was like defending him was like, why didn't you, you're a photojournalist, why didn't you take a picture?
Yeah.
But the dolphin might have had his penis out because dolphins often have their penises out, apparently. They're always hard and sometimes they poke them out and that's like a hand. See?
They poke them out?
Too much.
And it's like a hand?
Like, that's how they feel around for stuff.
Oh, come on, man.
No, it's like just like a thing, and they they
like
sometimes
a probe.
Hook. Yeah.
Well, that's.
But so we didn't wank off Freddy.
No. It would be, even if he did, the evidence would vanish.
Yeah.
I was with Joe Wilkinson last night, and he was talking. You what?
Other people have been convicted of it.
Of wanking off dolphins.
Yeah. It was in America. It was a NASA study. Who did I send that link to? I sent it to someone.
Who's studying that? What are you on about?
No, someone did. There was like a NASA study of dolphins. Hang on, this might.
Oh,
there was something to do with NASA and dolphins, and then someone went rogue and started wanking them all off. Not all of them. Hang on.
All of them.
All of the dolphins off. No, people can Google that if they're interested.
No wonder dolphins are so pleased to see you.
So happy.
Oh, there's another human going to wank off me probe. Good Lord. Every time I talk to you, it just descends into genitalia talk.
Oh, it does. That's so bad.
We're obsessed with
Maybe
bits.
I'm the problem.
Yeah. Well, do you know what, though? I mean, this is the thing. That just goes to show how comfortable we are. That just goes to show friendship, where you can just go off on tangents about whatever. You know what I mean? It's like I got a few people like that you, and this that goes back to what I said about being like your true self. You can just, we could have a heated discussion 1 minute, and the next minute we're talking about wanking off all the dolphins.
Wanking off all the dolphins.
All of the dolphins.
You think they'd have to line up? How would you do it if you had to wank off all the dolphins?
They'd have to be lined up, wouldn't they? Or round in a circle.
Like a display.
Yeah. You'd be in the middle of them like a trained seal running around. Oh, God. I don't know how long it would take you to wank them all off. It would take ages. How many dolphins are there in the world?
I don't know.
Which bit? Not all of them, or just a certain type of dolphin, like the ones we know about?
No, all of them. But
What,
do you have to like write them
bottlenose
off till the end, till they've finished?
Oh, on a
You're just edging
technicality, you
dolphins
could
now.
just do a couple of strokes and then on to the next
Yeah.
one. Yeah, but then you're going to get a load of frustrated, pissed off dolphins.
It does sound like we're planning a Guinness World Record attempt.
Oh my
Wank
God.
off all the dolphins. How many dolphins are there? What
Oh,
constitutes wanking them off?
Chris Akabusi has to announce that. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
That world record. You don't know who Chris Akabusi is, do you?
But like I know the name,
Yeah.
but I couldn't remember his face.
No, this is when I forget about. Oh God! Sometimes I say stuff that will go, "Nah, I wasn't even born then." Anyway,
No, but let me Google him because I'm going to be like,
okay. Oh, this is the bit that everyone loves about any podcast that we do. Is the googling
Just
bit?
have a Google.
You're just sitting there googling, but this is all part of mental health, having these chats, I suppose, isn't it? You know, because these are questions.
Yeah, I know Chris Akabusi now.
There you go. How many dolphins are there in the world? Google that while you're on there. That's a lot, though, isn't it?
How would you get them to agree?
How would I get them to agree? What do they like? Yeah. What would you'd have to coax them over with fish fingers.
They like to.
That's what you'd do. You'd
fish
put
fingers.
You'd put fish fingers on your fingers, and then they'd come over. Oh, I like them, and then you'd have at it.
Do they like fish fingers?
I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I've never met a dolphin.
So at least 8 million and possibly several millions more.
Fucking hell.
That's a lot of dolphin dicks.
But
they're not going to be men. Hang on. They're not all male dolphins.
What?
They don't all have dicks. So you're fine.
Oh,
that's half a job.
Well, that just goes to show the level I work on, where I didn't even think about the women dolphins in this scenario, because I'm like, that would be weird if I'm approaching, as an older man, I'm approaching dolphins, but blokes, yeah, have it, get your knobs out, I'll go at them. That just goes to show where I'm at on an ethical and moral level.
You've ignored
well
all
done,
the
me.
female dolphins.
I didn't. I was like, no, that's not my area of expertise.
just like the boys.
Yeah, I'll do the fellas. Women, someone else would have to do that. You'll have to do that.
You don't need to do it.
No, really.
You have to do it. Get stuck in.
I just think it'd make the sea. I think it'd make the oceans a really calmer place.
Cloudier
Everyone will be
place.
relaxed. What? Anyway,
place.
We've gone so off topic. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But how do you? So with this, how do you feel about talk? Are you able to talk about how you're really feeling to people? Like, do you have people that you can say, "I'm fucked off today," or "This is troubling me"?
Not. I don't know. There was this thing online. Sorry, I interrupted you. Like people intellectualize their feelings instead of feeling them, and I think I'm definitely like that.
Yeah.
But no one really cares. I don't have people who. Well, if they do care, let me rephrase that, because they might care and I'm just not aware. But no, it's getting better now. But for I'm just like, oh, okay. I just sort of do everything by myself, and no one really. I find I'm always the one, like, or in the past I've been the one always making the effort with people, and people don't actually sort of message me a lot. It's getting better now, and there's a few people that I'm like, and I feel more able to do it. But yeah. I've forgotten what you said. Sorry.
No. About communicating basically is what I'm talking about how you're feeling, and that's true. Do you know what? It's funny. I'm getting better at it because I didn't realize what I was doing. My brain kind of puts people in boxes. So with this, if I'm doing men brain, then everything connected to that is there. And then if I'm doing But Please Don't Panic, that's there. And if I'm doing Never Mind the Age Gap, that's there. And if I don't tend to text people aside from that. Like you and I now are, like we'll send each other stuff, links and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm suddenly getting better at it. No, producer Paul the other day, he sent me a picture from a toilet in a pub that really made me laugh. And I was like, oh, yeah, nice. We care. Yeah, I forget. I'm like, yeah, we're friends above everything else.
Yeah.
And I'm getting better at that. I'm too busy everything's kind of boxed off. And then I'm like,
you've got lots on as well.
Sorry? Yeah.
You've got lots on, haven't you? Like, your brain's always busy because you're always somewhere doing something.
That's true.
Trying to organise stuff.
There is a lot.
I think, and I used to care about it a lot more when I was younger, like people not actively and like openly caring about me. Because I was only diagnosed as an adult. And so I had like lots of mental health issues before. And it's always been like, I felt wrong. So I used to think I thought wrong. And so I thought people not caring about me is because I was doing something wrong and not because I was just trying to be with the wrong people, or like just even I didn't know how friends worked. So I'd see like the theory of friends, like, oh, you're going to hang out and they care about you. I was like, okay, cool. And then the people I was with, like, or hanging out with, didn't do that, or I didn't have anyone. And like when my social anxiety was really bad, so like no one, I don't know. I've never felt like anyone's like, I've never been looked after. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like no one's ever cared for me, like taken care of me. And so it's kind of hard to trust people because I just don't think people are too interested. But
that comes from having those experiences when you were in your formative years.
Yes, no, I've always felt that though. Because my mum, because like me and my mum have a difficult relationship, and so when you're like the black sheep of the family, it's sort of other people treat you like that as well. So you don't really get a chance to be. It's sort of almost like they dictate your narrative. I said dick too much. I really emphasised that they dictate your narrative. But yeah, so like your narrative isn't your own, and your story isn't your own, because if you're always labelled as the troublemaker, or she can't behave herself, or she's too emotional, then, or like, like the problem child. That was me. And so, and it's like, it's weird that other people, like how other people see, like, so this was all happening when I was a kid and stuff. And like even my sister, when she was like, yeah, mum used to let other people smack you. And I was like, I don't fucking remember that.
What?
But I remember like always in trouble. Yeah.
Because you hadn't been diagnosed, so people didn't know there was something else going on.
And she didn't care. Let's not make it out like she was like a good parent.
Oh,
she didn't give a shit.
No.
So I used to get smacked a lot. But now, I think I would have been diagnosed like even as a baby. So one of my first special interests as like a kid, well, as a baby, was Neighbours.
Okay.
I was talking about it the other day with my sister. But they would, like when I was like 3 months old, they would hold me facing away from the TV, and then I would try and fight to watch the TV. So when the Neighbours theme tune came on, I would try and like fight to turn around and stuff.
But that's what Richard Hardesty, he does a bit in his show, Silly Boy, and he's got his baby book, and his mum's written all the bits in about him when he was a baby, like all the nice bits, and it says favourite song, Neighbours.
Yeah, maybe it's everyone's. I just love it. I love special interests.
Yeah.
We've got, but it's weird how, like, you sort of look back retrospectively and go, oh no, I was really into that a bit too much. And I was messaging someone yesterday, and they were saying about how CSI and like Gil Grissom, and that was one of their special interests. I was like, oh shit, because I fucking loved it. And I was like, all of the sort of crime, like sort of dramas, I was like, yeah, I fucking love them. And that's like a proper special interest where I'm just like, no, I watched them all. So I didn't watch Bones though. I've watched a few episodes, but I was like, let me like revisiting special interests is lush, because all the excitement comes back and it's all familiar and nice.
Mine, I was obsessed with Starsky and Hutch growing up, and like it would make my heart ache when it finished, or if I'd have to beg my mum and dad if I could stay up late to watch it, and sometimes they'd say yeah. Oh, this mic dropped down. Sorry, I'm back. Sometimes they said yeah, and then sometimes they say no. But I'd sit on the landing upstairs and listen, and just be heartbroken because I wasn't allowed to watch it. And I was obsessed. I loved it. I had the car. I just couldn't get enough. Couldn't get enough. And even now, and if I'm feeling really shit, I put YouTube on and I just watch Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah, no, I like that familiarity, that comfort. I do it. Midsummer Murders, because sometimes I go, I can't. There's nothing I want to watch, and everything just feels wrong.
Yeah.
Like out of all the things I want to watch, and I'll say, let me start Midsummer Murders from the beginning, or Jonathan Creek's a good one. I'm like, let me just watch all of the Jonathan Creeks again. It's just something.
Just that comfort thing.
Yeah, familiar. Hi, Barbara.
There's Barbara. Barbara's in. She loves it. Barbara the cat.
Pain.
So have you kind of spoken to your mum about this, or is it kind of like it's just like?
Oh, I don't talk to that bitch.
Do you not?
No, well, that's really harsh, actually. No, I don't. Because because she's just a shit mum.
Mm.
And I have got no tolerance for it anymore.
No.
I spent so long. So we've always clashed. And I spent so long as a teenager. Well, because so she chucked me out when I was like 14. And so I was sort of homeless. And then, pardon?
What? Really?
Yeah. This is what I mean. Like, it's not. So because obviously I was undiagnosed, and it happens to lots of, especially girls and women, I think, so the self-harming, the depression, but Barbara, babe, you're causing issues again. Don't get on that fucking wire. You're such a dickhead. Get off. So it's really common to have sort of if you've got problems as a teenager to be later diagnosed. But yeah. So because not having anyone to care for me and look after me and to sort of parent me and teach me. Because her and my dad split up when I was maybe 10 or 11. And so that's my social anxiety started. And I wasn't an easy kid before that, but probably about 9 when I stopped eating in front of people. But obviously I had limited food that I would eat anyway, so that I just stopped eating in front of people as well. And then when I went to secondary school, I started self-harming and stuff, and then everything really broke down. And so when I was 14, that was a really sort of pivotal year, because that's when I took the overdose, and that's when she was making me homeless and stuff. So I would go to school. She would like pack a holdall full of my clothes, and I would go to school with that, and then hope that one of my friends' mum would let me sleep there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And how long did that go on for?
I don't really know. Months.
Mm.
And then I think after, so when she first chucked me out and she told me never to come back, I broke the window.
Oh, really? To get back in, or just broke it anyway? Yeah.
No, just fuck her. Double glazing is fucking hard to break though. That rock bounced off.
Oh shit.
And then she reported me. My dad made her report me as a missing person, even though she made me homeless. So she chucked me out. Yeah, and I was in the park with my friends. Like, I used to keep a tenner in the back of my phone. You know the Nokia 3310s?
Yes.
Because if I needed to get a bus or something, I could get a bus. I had money for a bus, so I used to keep emergency money in the back of my phone.
Oh my God.
And one time, the school took me down social services, but they didn't do anything either.
And then what happened? Where did you end up?
So my dad got a flat up here.
Mm.
And then, so I moved in with my dad and my now stepmom.
Right. And then you got your own place.
Well, no, then all the bits in between. And then I got away with it.
Yeah. Mate, but how does, when you really think about all that, is that not, there is an anger there because of it, or you just kind of like, oh, fuck it, doesn't matter now?
Well, now because I used to think like, because my whole aim was to be like back with my mum, because I just loved her. And even though she didn't, because she used to say to me, I love you, I just don't like you.
Right.
But when you're a self-harming teenager, that's not really what you want to hear, because I always thought I was wrong. because everyone else could do things like be around people and know what to say and just be comfortable, and that was always so alien to me. But I was until I was like, even at 18, I was trying to live with her, and she would let me for a bit, and then she'd be like, "I'm just calling your dad," and I'd be like, well, "What the fuck?" But and it created like a big sort of rivalry between me and my sister, because I saw my sister getting all the things that like I should have had, like even stuff like my mum decorated. So after I took the overdose, my mum decorated my bedroom for me. It was maybe like a calm space. Then she started chucking me out. I said to my sister, I said, "Don't, that's mine." And then my mum gave it to her, and I was like just heartbroken because like I had nothing for me. But then it's only as an adult, and she's like, because she's obviously not great, but it's like the compulsive lying, and she's just done some things. I won't get into it too much. Barbara, I beg, get off my leg. Get off. Sorry, the cat's being a pain. I'm fidgeting because my knee's starting to hurt because sitting cross-legged. But as an adult, and like, because I'm a mum, I'm like, I would never do that. And I'm not, like, I don't need a mum now. And I'm not, it's just disrespectful to keep lying. Because the lies are so pointless. Like, I'm sitting here going, but you're lying. We all know you're lying. And to, like, create drama, she never cared about me.
No.
And so, like, they're creating drama and lying and stuff. I'm like, oh, just go away. Like, I just want a peaceful life.
Yeah. Sounds like narcissism on her part.
But she's not clever. That's what pisses me off.
Right.
So I'm like, you're not clever.
Oh, they rarely are.
But like, so I'm sitting and she's like, oh, I didn't say that. I'm like, but you did because I was there. She's like, no, I didn't.
Yeah. It's
or like, she'll just lie to us. And we're like,
yeah,
you can't keep track of your lies. And can you just fuck off with it? Because it's just exhausting.
Yeah. It gets to a point you just go, I can't deal with it. Having dealt with someone similar, and you're going, I just know that's bollocks, but you're so convincing and manipulative, and you've ground me down so much. I'm just like, I don't know what, even if it isn't true, I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm just bored with it.
She hasn't got the. It's just silly things. When you just there's no need to lie about stuff. But she's
right.
She's always a victim. So things just it's so weird. This is like a weird therapy session. But I remember when we were a bit younger, probably like 18, 20, went down with my cousin and we asked for a lift to the station. And she was like, "Oh no, I'm working," and that's fine. There's no need to lie. If you're working, you're working. And then she was like, "No," and then another day she was just like, "Oh, I just didn't want to do it." And I'm like, "Well, just fucking say it. You don't have to do stuff.
Yeah.
But you have to be honest. No one's expecting you to do everything. But if you lie about it, it's just so boring."
Yeah.
And then she spread lies about me and my sister to family members, and they started giving us shit. And I was like, "Fuck off! None of you are brilliant.
No.
I take criticism from you lot. You can all get in the bin. I haven't done anything." But yeah.
Mate.
But I don't care. I don't have that social obligation. I'm like, "Oh, it's your mum." I'm like, "Yeah, but my mum's a dickhead, so
yeah,
it's fine to cut her off." But some people are really shocked to hear that, and you're like, "Not all mums are good."
Not all mums are good. I know a couple of people whose mums have been shocking.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky. My mum's great, but I've heard some stories, so I don't blame you. There was something, while I remember, that you wanted to talk about last time, and when we'd finished the recording, you went, "Shit, I didn't talk about that."
Oh, what was it?
Was it about something to do with autism? And something that people don't really get about autism or understand. Maybe we've covered it already at the beginning.
Well, I don't know. I think last time we said we talked about autism, but we never actually explained like what it was or anything. We just started
maybe it was
about
that
it with no explanation.
Yeah.
Oh, but I think so much has changed in so it's been like a few years since we tried to do it last time.
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
People just don't give a shit about autism anymore. People just do not care. It's the least interesting thing about me. It's so just.
You don't think people need a better understanding of it, as seeing as more and more people now are being diagnosed with it?
But people don't care.
No.
But I think because what I'm tired of seeing is that people making it their whole personality.
Yes.
And like profiting off it. So I'm like, it's a condition that affects all of us. So why? And then thinking their time is more precious than anyone else's time. And all they're doing is just collecting other people's opinions. And I'm just like, because I don't want to be defined by these diagnoses. It's just a thing I am. Because some people are like, oh, it's a superpower. I'm like, it's fucking not though, is it? Or like special brains. I'm like, but they're not. They're just brains, and they just work a bit differently.
Yeah,
And it's not that interesting. And people are always trying to like make money off stuff and just exist and be happy. Jesus.
I think that's my issue with it all as well. And I see certain comedians, before they've even said a joke, they just got this big list of things, and you're like, all right, you might write some material with the things in it or about the things, and then we'll go, oh, right, okay, that, all right, I understand. But just to, like you said, they made it their whole personality. Everyone's looking for a thing that they go, oh, this makes me different and different to everyone else. You're like, no, it doesn't. Doesn't at all.
Yeah, but if everyone, we've talked about this before. If everyone's got trauma, that's just life, then, isn't it? It stops being trauma, and it's just life.
Life is
if
traumatic.
I always think about like bugs and fish and stuff, and I'm like, there's some sharks, so I've got chunks taken out of them, and they're not like, but my trauma, I can't catch any fish right now. The trauma, you've just got to crack on, because it's not gonna. I don't know. It might. I might just sound really sort of quite cold about it all, but I just
but that might be just your attitude today. Tomorrow you'll feel different. You've had a bit more sleep. You've had more sugar.
A bit more sugar. That's it. Fill me up with sugar.
Whatever,
But it's the thing that because I just think, it's not that important. Like, you don't get special awards for having the most trauma. Like, you have to. And I think people use it as an excuse not to keep trying.
Yes, there's a bit of that. Like, there is a bit of that.
It's just, it's my trauma. You still have to try. You still have to be a person. Like, you don't get to opt out of almost like picking and choosing of which bits of society not for me. But saying that, I do pick and choose which bits. But no, I do. So I don't do those icebreakers. So maybe I'm just a hypocrite.
There is an element of that though, of, I feel, life is hard, and you've been through some shit, but at the same time, you still got to keep going. You still have to just do. There is stuff you can't go. Oh well, I've got my mental health is a bit more important than yours, so I'm not going to turn up today because I said I'd meet you, but now I'm not going to. And you're like, no, you just can't be asked. That's different.
But I said, Barbara, you're such a problem cat. No, because I am a canceller. I'm trying not to, though. I'm trying really hard because I do enjoy it, but the anxiety of doing something different and being out of routine, that's a lot. And sometimes it's always better to do it, though. Because I always think, sorry, that's where your stories come from. You don't get cool stories. And if you've got no stories, or if you're having if nothing's going in, if you're getting no input, nothing changes, you just sort of become a bit stagnant. You've got to be, even if it's just small steps, like just trying. Like if you can't meet your friend for a coffee, but you call them and have a chat, like just try and find the compromise, I think. But
yeah,
that's
a good way of putting it. Yeah,
but everyone's too. We were talking about this. Who was I talking to about it? This is the problem I have. I'm like, I talk about stuff and I can't remember who I've talked to about it.
I'm the same. I have so many conversations.
Yeah, I'm like, who am I repeating myself to?
Yes.
I said this to you before, but like, it's hyper-individualism, isn't it? Hyper-individualism.
Okay.
Get my words out. So if everyone's only going for working what's in their interest and their immediate family. And so, like, the wider community suffers.
Yes, and that's the thing. You hear this all the time. Go, I need to take care of my this, and I need to. Sometimes you need to, in order to help your own mental health, you need to help somebody else. So you might not be asked to go and meet them. I've said this loads of times. You might not be asked to go and meet them, but I guarantee you, once you've gone, you'll feel better about it. I guarantee it. Every time you'll go, even if it's just an hour. Go. And you'll come back and go, actually, I'm glad I did that. And then you'll get more used to it.
Something.
Yeah, you'll get more used to it. You'll go, actually, it wasn't bad last time. And then your brain starts to remember, that was a nice thing we did. Let's go and do that again. And so...
That's how I overcame my social anxiety.
Really? Just going, fuck it, I'm going to have to do this.
Well, just because... So I had severe social anxiety and severe depression, but it was like non-functioning, couldn't do anything.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I couldn't leave. So when it was like the worst, I couldn't get out of bed because I was so anxious. It's like opening the curtains would cause like. Actually, I say that the worst is when I was seeing like eyes in the garden and searching under beds and like searching houses properly. That's the worst of it.
Yeah,
But,
that's pretty. Eyes under the bed. Eyes in the
yeah,
garden.
eyes in the garden, like red glowing eyes. I had an assessment with I can't remember what they were called, but it's like so you've got like I was gonna say like the sort of the socially acceptable sort of mental illness stuff of like depression, anxiety, but that's when you start getting like the fruity side of, oh, you're seeing things, are you, Rachel? Okay, let's get you assessed. But it's weird because I think what they're looking for in those assessments is your language. Because I was like, I feel like I'm being watched and not like I am being watched. I don't know if that makes a big difference. I feel like it. Feel like you're being watched.
Well, I feel like I am being watched is more definite than I feel like I'm. So I might be being watched, whereas I am definitely being watched.
Yeah.
And this is what they look like. But eyes in the garden, though, like, you're going to see eyes in the garden, like foxes.
But it's like so this is hypervigilance, but not like the bullshit social media hypervigilance. This is like the proper, oh, you're losing your fucking mind hypervigilance. So it's like anxiety, but like permanently really high, like the bad thing's going to happen as soon as you stop paying attention to it. So it was like being in a horror movie, you know, when like they've just got away from the bad guy and as soon as they're closing the door, because I always used to like imagine hand going round the door, so he's like rush inside and then close the door, because it was like it was going to happen. If I wasn't quick, that was going to happen.
Yes, I know what you mean. I up until very recently, only a few years ago, I used to do that thing. It was where, you know, when you're going to bed and you're on your own, so you have to put all of your fingers on every single light switch in the flat, and you have to switch them all off at the same time as you run up the stairs.
I remember doing that as a kid, where you go, yeah, when you're a kid and you sort of like you turn the lights on downstairs before you go. But we've talked about this on our podcast when I was like, oh, I'm the ghost now.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So that's how in my brain, when I'm scared, I'm like, yeah, but I'm in the dark being weird as well. So any monsters that are out there, any creeps, I'm also doing those things.
Maybe that's why I'm all calm about things now, because when I'm out, like driving back late at night, it's always the middle of the night when I'm driving home from somewhere, and I'm not scared of stopping for a pee, or I'm not scared of anyone being around, because I'm like, I know how weird I am. There's no way there's two of us out this time of night.
That's a joke, isn't it? When there's like chances of two of us being serial killers. Like, you're going to have to out-weird me.
Yeah. And I know I can get pretty out there sometimes.
Yeah, like I'm the ghost. I'm the monster. It is weird. It's just perception, isn't it?
Yeah.
How you perceive the stuff in the dark.
I was watching Mr. In Between yesterday, which is my new favourite programme. Australian. This guy, he's a security guy at this strip club, but he's got morals and ethics. It's a bit like Dexter. Like he does some horrible things, but he does it to like shitty people. The way it's written, it's like, oh yeah, I don't care about that person. They're a shitty person. It's really good.
Yeah.
We did this bit. He's got this really nice relationship with his daughter, and she was talking about monsters and that. And he's like, nah. She woke him up in the middle of the night and said, can I come and sleep in your bed? He's like, yeah. He goes, what's the matter? And she says, oh, there's monsters. He went, nah. He goes, well, look, this is what you have to do. Give your monsters names. So then when they've got names, they're not scary anymore. He went, I used to have one when I was a kid. Used to live under my bed, and I called it Gus. And she went, oh, that's a funny name. And he went, yeah. So if he's got a funny name, he's not scary anymore. It was a really nice bit. It was really nice.
Plus, you take the fear, because it's the unknown, isn't it? That's why everything's so polarizing, especially in politics and stuff, where if you don't understand something, you're going to be more scared of it. If you don't know about it, if you don't know about culture, you're going to be more scared of it. Like in the protests on Saturday, I don't want to call them protests, in the marches, there was like Arabic, and apparently but people are like, oh, it's Hamas and it's ISIS. You know, like, because people who speak, sorry, the cat's distracting me. They're like, no, it doesn't mean that. But they've just assumed because Arabic writing It's got
Right.
to be terrorists. You go, it could mean anything. Just because
Oh,
you don't speak the language, you don't know what it says. You've
yeah.
assumed that it's bad, because that's the fear, isn't it?
That's exactly it, and that's been stoked up by the governments in order for us to be kept in our place. They go, oh yeah, you know, they don't want you to learn languages, otherwise you'd
They
have a
don't want
better
you to talk to
understanding.
each other either. Like
No,
the
of course they
whole,
don't.
because if you just went, oh, that's interesting, what does that say? Then you've had that conversation, but people are too scared, and especially like, oh, you can't say anything these days. Well, fucking say it and see what happens.
Of course you
Don't
can.
risk it.
You can say
See
sorry.
what
What does that?
happens.
What does that? What does that say?
Yeah. Oh, that's
And they'll
a
tell
nice
you.
banner you've got there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because most people are good.
Yeah.
So it's whatever people say. Most people just want like a good life.
Mm.
But yeah, the whole sort of the fear of the unknown, and that's why they like to keep us all separate and not talk to each other. And,
Of course they do.
yeah, just have a chat, see what's what.
See what happens. But this, I want to go back briefly to something you mentioned earlier, and it's fun only because we went to see a play recently, and it was about it. The main character was self-harming
Okay.
and was extreme. It was really extreme, and it was really hardcore. And then as the play unfolds, you find out what happened to him, and it's fucking brutal. One of the best things I've ever seen in my entire life. I came away just gobsmacked. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And I suddenly I hadn't really understood self-harming before. I was doing something and I realised I was stressed, and that's why I was doing it. It wasn't self-harming, but it was like, oh, that's why I do that, because that relief when I do it.
Yeah.
And that's because I couldn't understand it, because I couldn't understand the connection between cutting yourself and then they go, it just releases pressure. And I was like, I don't understand the connection between the two. But suddenly I did.
Yeah.
And that must be fucking hard to be doing something like that, because it hurts.
It doesn't. Because, well, for me, I was already emotionally hurting. So this when I hated myself and I needed to punish myself.
Right.
So I was already, it's sort of, because obviously when you're not well, like, your ideas of stuff is always twisted. Like the perception's not accurate.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, but I just so it became a release. But actually, in hindsight, you go, oh, those feelings were always going to pass. I didn't need to do that. But in the moment, I absolutely needed to do that. That's all you focus on is oh, I need to cut. I need my knife. I remember when I was like 17, I went to a self-harm help group, but it was like the noughties. And so these things weren't really done. So I think it was like the first one with cams. And this is how I knew I was different to other people. Everyone there had really they were like, they asked us to describe like what animals we felt like. And everyone was like, I feel like a worm and a mouse, and they're all sort of small and insignificant. I was like, I feel like a fucking lion. Like, what does this mean about me? Like, I feel powerful and loud and protect. Like, this is how I feel. And so when everyone's like, oh, I just feel, like a bug. And I'm like, oh, God, I don't even fit in here. But, like that. That release, that sort of like emotional release. And it's just, it's a coping mechanism, which I think a lot of people don't think of it as.
No.
It's a way of coping and a way of just sort of taking you out of it, I think. Like, because when you physically hurt, it sort of matches up with your like emotional hurting and stuff.
Yeah.
But I saw a conversation online about because when you're autistic and you melt down, you might have sort of not self-harming, because the idea is that you don't hurt yourself, but your stimming can sort of be harmful.
Mm.
And like headbutting and like punching yourself and stuff. Yeah, so I punched but I've not had like a proper lose control meltdown for ages. I can't remember what the last one was. Because luckily I'm hardly ever in situations that I can't leave.
Yeah.
But I think the last one sort of took me by surprise. I wonder what it was. that's going to bug me now. Like, what was the last time? But yeah, like I punch myself because I need to feel something else.
Yeah, I've known someone else that's
Like
done that, and
my legs, I punch my legs and stuff.
right when
But
you're there and you're like, all right, come on, it's when you're when you're with that person and it's happening, and you're like, all right, let's not do that. Let's not do that for a minute, and just try and calm down and work out what's going on. Just brought that on. Yes, it's a weird one.
Because it's different. So like sort of harmful stimming and because like some people like scratch. Sometimes I scratch if I'm feeling. So stimming, everybody stims, like self-stimulating behaviours. That's why jumping and flapping are quite common ones. But like you think about, the sort of stereotype or the of like a guy's waiting for his wife to give birth and he's pacing the corridor because he's anxious.
Yeah.
So that's a stim, isn't it?
That's
that
stim,
repetitive behaviour. Like flicking pens and like doodling, sort of repetitive things.
Yeah, I
so
do
that's
that
like
all the
how you
time.
regulate your emotions.
Yeah, I'm always tapping. Or I'm doodling. Yeah, I'm really
and
still.
It's just like it's calming. Well, we've had this conversation before.
Yeah.
It's calming. It's like that sort of it's just that comfort in that repetition, and it helps you regulate your emotions. So you can have sort of happy, excited stimming when you're. I clap sometimes. The boy jumps, and he flaps when he's excited. So he's always just like, oh, that looks like it hurts as well. Just calm yourself down with your flappy arms, and then. But when he's upset, he bites me. So you need that sensory seeking. So he doesn't do it often now because he doesn't get that. But like headbutting, he needs that like feedback. But yeah, it's all connected. And then you've got like afterwards, you've got the sense of, especially with like self-harm and actually meltdowns as well, but the sense of shame that you've let people down because you've done it again.
Yes.
And you've got to try and hide it and it becomes a secret. So you're worried about people seeing it and their reactions, and it just piles more pressure on. And so it becomes like another concern, another thing to worry about, and another thing to potentially, like, I don't know.
Yeah. It just piles onto the stuff that's already causing the problems in the first place.
Yeah.
Like the worry that, oh God, I've got now the shame, like you just said, all that stuff then goes and then creates more pressure.
Yeah. But but like getting really drunk is a form of self-harm, isn't it? Anything you do that is to hurt yourself, or you do something in a healthy way to cope with something you're trying to process, is probably a form of self-harm. So like drugs and stuff can often be a form of self-harm because if you're avoiding something,
yes,
it's difficult and you don't know how to. But I think lots of people have really unhealthy coping mechanisms.
Loads, yeah, of course. Loads of people do. Every pub, every weekend, you can see people get absolute blackout drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kate and I were talking about that last night, about people that do that. And it's more people have those things than don't, as you've just said. But you're at the other side now.
Yeah. I was thinking that, am I? No, I am. Yeah.
You're in a better place.
Yeah. I haven't self-harmed since I was like 21.
Good.
Maybe,
I'm glad to hear it.
I'm
glad you're at the side. Joe, it's funny. We'll wrap up now. This has been good, though. Well done. Lovely chat. Hope you're all right.
Yeah. It's better than the last one when I was just shouting about autism, Mum.
Joe, it's funny, though. Angela Barnes, every time I speak to Angela Barnes, she goes, yeah, that's ADHD, Rich. And I'm like, all right, maybe. And then the other day, I was walking to the car and I was talking about something. I've been supporting her on tour, and I was like, yeah, well, I'll meet you at blah, 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 blah. And as I walked to the car, I saw we had really bad rain, and what I'd done the night before driving back, I've got 4 buttons that control all 4 windows in the car. And I'd forgotten to put the back window up when I pressed it down by mistake. So all the rain had come in all night, all over my stuff.
Oh, shit.
As I was trying to explain to Angela Barnes that I don't have ADHD. I'm just an idiot. I looked at the card. I went, oh, for fuck's sake! And I went, you'll never guess what. And I sent her a picture, and she went, do I really have to keep on, Rich? Like, yeah.
No, but we've talked about it before as well. Because
we have.
You say you're an idiot, but I'm like, because that is something like bad working memory, being disorganized. These are things that we've talked about when you're like trying to do everything at once. But
yeah.
And I think you won't realise until you see like neurotypical people and how they do it, and you go, "Oh shit, I don't do that," and you go, "Ah." And also, autistic and what's the other one? ADHD,
yeah.
and like neurodiverse people, they're like little magnets. They will just draw together.
True.
So if you're hanging out with lots of people who've got ADHD and who are autistic, then it's more likely you are.
And I am. And here we are, and that's why we do. But please don't panic. This has been great. This has been great. We're going to see each other on Monday, so that's good. So
yes,
remember,
we're gonna record it. It's all just gone a bit hectic.
I know it has a bit. It was like just before this. I was running around trying to find bits for a mic stand that I already had, but because I hadn't unscrewed a bit, I thought I didn't have it. And it was only when producer Paul went, "No, that look, if you unscrew that middle bit, that'll fit on there." Anyway, this has been insane in the membrane.
Panic.
Yeah, I nearly did. This has been insane in the membrane. Thank you to Wellesley for joining me. I've been Rich Wilson, and we'll see you next time.
Insane in the membrane.